eulogize the world-renowned musical icon, Coco T. But how does one eulogize the giant of a man who was multifaceted, multi-talented, and multidimensional? It would take an entire book to get even an overview of his achievements. As a family, we chose to eulogize him from the viewpoint of a father, a husband, and a family man. One of the most consequential dates in history, September 3rd, 1959, Ranford Scott and Sylvia Craig welcomed a son, and he was given the name Calvin George Scott. He was raised mainly by his mother in Rocky Point, Canada. He attended South Salem Primary School and then Bustamante Secondary School. My father was a good student, which is evident from the lyrical content of his songs and his ability to discourse at great length on any topic such as politics, religion, or the music industry. My uncle Gilly remembers him as a student who had a sharp brain and was able to grasp the lessons well. Uncle Gil believes that had their parents been able to support it then, my father might have made a great impact on academia instead of music. At a tender age, he was told by an elder relative called Sada that he was going to be somebody great. And if she did not live to see it, then Congo would come back and tell her. Sada did not live to see him become a world-renowned superstar, but her words were indeed prophetic. And of course, Congo would have told her about how his singing took him to all corners of the world and made him a star. Before becoming the Coco T, he tried his hand at many odd jobs to help his mother put food on the table. He did masonry, fishing, and probably because of his ideal stature, tried out at Cayman Spot to become a racehorse jockey. He sustained numerous falls as a jockey and had to wheel and come again, and then settled for some time as a groom instead. He embraced this position with his usual determination and would sleep in the stables with the other stable hands. He would sing for them at night, as his love for singing was always present. One day he was told by a trainer that he was different from the others and that he did not belong there. The trainer must have seen the same potential that Sada did, so he returned to Rocky Point and tried his hand as a fisherman. This too only lasted for a time, but he never gave up on his love for racehorsing and would later become an owner and breeder. He won multiple races, including the 103rd Jamaican Derby in 2000. As a child, my father was beloved by all, especially older people because of his wittiness, his care and compassion, but mostly because of his melodious voice. Around 6 years old, he fashioned his own sound system from the tuba board that were used in Bruce. He used bottle cords and nailed them on the board as a control for the volume, and then he used fish line as the electric wire and the bottle as his mic. He would sing all day and would only take breaks to eat. His talent and charisma was such that he attracted older, more mature, and talented musicians who were drawn to this young prodigy. Among them was Roy Massa, who wrote one of his first songs, Searching in the Hills. Other known musicians of that time, such as Frederick Wright, Gladstone Moody, aka Congo, would play and allow my father to be their lead singer despite his young age. His first alias as a singer was Calliope. Now, one question I know must be on some of your minds is, how did he get the name Coco T? There are many legends and folk tales about how he got the name. However, I have some trusted sources who told me that Miss Lou Stevens is credited for giving him that name. One evening while he was in Pearl Cottage, he told his mother that he fell for some hot cocoa tea. Miss Lou teased him about it and the name caught on and stuck. He was succeeded by 8 children: Rasheen, Calvin Jr., Yakisha, myself, along with Jared, Tashana, Jamari, and Kelvin. He was also married to my mother, who he pursued for an extended period before she finally gave in. In his song, She Loves Me Now, it speaks of his dating journey when he declared, "A long time I'm on one super daughter." My mother eventually gave him a chance to prove his worth one night at a community event, where she danced with him, and as they say, the rest is history, proving that very someone got it right when he declared what one dance can do. As with many relationships, my parents faced their fair share of hardship, and this was compounded by the fact that as my father's fame grew, so did his distance and his time spent away from his family. Now, my mother, of course, sometimes complained about hiccups in the relationship, and my father would assure her of his commitment to her. On one particular occasion, she pointed out that she wanted a good life, one without pain and strife. And this, ladies and gentlemen, was the basis of his song, Good Life. My mom was always the wind beneath his wing. She was always in his shadow, walking a step behind. He knew she was content to let him shine. In 2017, my parents decided to migrate to Florida, and this would provide my younger siblings with a wider world experience, and my mom would also be able to pursue a career. She quickly trained to become a medical assistant and worked for two of South Florida's top healthcare facilities. Her career choice would end up being a godsend, as it afforded him with the best healthcare, and he could see any doctor he desired without any issues whatsoever. That being said, my father was not one to follow doctor's orders, as his health was approved, but if any one of us children even sneezed, he would order us to go to the doctor immediately. When it was pointed out that it was hypocritical, as he avoided doctors while insisting that we should go, he would always say that he lived his life and traveled the world, and we had not yet done so. Even when it was obvious to us that he was in pain, he would always put on a brave face and told us not to worry. Now, I do not know who Kokoti really was when I was a child. My earliest memories were that this was the one I called Pops. He taught me to tie my shoelace, play football, and ride a bicycle. I used to look forward to power cuts because this was the time my dad would tell the stories. He was the best storyteller that ever lived. We would grab candles and flashlights, and my father would keep us enthralled for hours with his stories from childhood. Even when he told us the same story over and over again, it never got old because his delivery only got better over time. We would all be rolling on the floor laughing when Pops opened his mouth because his comedic timing was unmatched. Another funny thing that he used to do was give out nicknames, as I'm sure many of you know. I don't know if my father ever addressed anyone in his circle by their name. My sister's love for Hunchback of Notre Dame earned her the nickname Esmeralda, which she used even when she was an adult. When she moved to Canada and talked to him about the cold and snow, she was rebranded as Snow White. He would play games like boxing, tennis, and golf on Nintendo Wii with us. He was very competitive, and he didn't believe in handouts. We had to fight to the end to earn our winnings every single time, but as you can probably imagine, we gave him a really hard time. I would list video games as one of his strengths if you get what I mean. Now, my father was a simple man. Whenever he returned from the stores, his first plan of action was to have his fish tea. Usually a doctor fish, and the whole Scotch bonnet pepper was always present. Even though he walked among giants and accomplished so much, he remained relatable, approachable, and retained his roots and connection with everyone around him. His simplicity was reflected especially in his dressing. While he carried himself royally, he was known for always wearing his signature red, green, and gold maroon, which reflected his commitment to Rastafari faith and his Pan-African beliefs. He was a proud father when it came to his children. My sister Keisha recounts that when she told him she wanted to become a lawyer, his response was, "What do you mean, you want to lawyer?" But when she got called to the bar, he went and boasted to everyone about his bona fide lawyer daughter. Throughout every career decision, whether positive or negative, he would tell us that if you want good, you know how to run. Or just stop, man. It's to reach where you want. He might have been a bit disappointed when Keisha never pursued music. However, he knew she excelled academically and was supportive, as education meant so much to him. He loved horse racing almost as much as he loved music and his family. He was dedicated to the health and well-being of his horses and would personally go out bush a few days a week to pick many for them. We remember his dedication to reading what he called his Maccabee Bible every morning, thus rejuvenating and concretizing his spiritual beliefs daily. His awareness of the political landscape, both locally and internationally, was well known by close associates. His song Barack Obama comes close to mind. He had definitive and unapologetic views. He would hold spirited debates with anyone who challenged him about his political stance. It would be remiss of me if I didn't take a moment to thank the people who have been here throughout my dad's musical and finally his health career. I would not be able to call all their names, but they know themselves. The friends who gave their time and energy selflessly without the thought of reward or recompense, they gave from the heart. As a family, we thank you. To those well-wishers who sent positive messages and prayers, we acknowledge your positive thoughts. Thank you to my fathers, to Kokoti's millions of fans around the globe who mourn his loss, the loss of his physical presence. I know he will continue to keep his legacy alive through his music. Jah guide and bless you all. In closing, I would like you all to keep his family in your prayers. We thank the Most High for gracing our lives for 65 years with them as father, husband, brother, uncle, the greatest storyteller, our faceless protector. The family is comforted by his precious memories and would like to leave you with the words of one of his lesser-known songs, Room in My Father's House. It goes like this. There is a room in my Father's house for everyone. There is a move to keep us apart. You've got to hold on to love forever in your heart. You've got to keep your goals in sight, resist the urge to fight. Because only love can help us cross over, who will, may come. These are the words of my Father since the earth began. Yes, Kokoti, Pops, try not to Zion. As we are assured that there is a prepared room waiting for you in your Father's house. Rest well, Pops. Zion is definitely noisier and more melodious since you got there. Sila.
Thank you so much, Shaquille. If you think that I'm switching up